everybody, and welcome to Friday afternoon with Steph. And now we have Michael joining us today.
Hello.
We have a special top 10 countdown for the games we've learned in November.
Woo-hoo.
Now, the games I played are a little bit different from the games you played, because I learned a whole bunch without you online, random places. So they won't be exactly the same, but I'm sure we'll have some overlap in there.
Yep. A little bit.
A
Just
bit.
a little bit.
Just a
Because,
little
I
bit.
already know what your titles are, so.
Oh, what is that?
What is what?
What do you mean what my titles are?
I already know what your titles are because of the.
You already spoiled it for mine, but we don't know what yours are.
That's right. Because I just take that from your November top
Exactly,
10.
that's what I take it from as well. But not everybody knows to go look at the blog, but every the first Monday, Wednesday, or Friday of every month, I post my new to me blog, which I write about every game that I learned from the previous month. So I rank everything from worst to best. So that's technically includes my top 10.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess we should start. I know you had a special 11th edition you wanted to...
I did because we've been playing this an awful lot in our gaming group, and so I wanted to give a special shout out to Jackbox Games because they have Jackbox Party Pack 7 out now, and so I had to go ahead and get that. Here's a link to anyone who is unfamiliar with all of the Jackbox games. A lot of people will play this on Discord and Facebook and Zoom and whatever else that they can get a hold of. Anything where they can share their screen and do some interactive stuff. Only one person needs to have a copy of the game running. Someone who can share their screen, and the Jackbox servers will take care of all of the calculating and everything. All you have to do is have some sort of a mobile device, or even, I guess it probably even works on PC, where you will go to Jackbox TV and enter in a 4-letter code, and you will automatically connect to that game. So it's really a lot of fun, and the Humble Bundle store, if you guys are not familiar with humblebundle.com, you should probably make yourselves aware of it. If you have a Steam account or anything like that, you can get a lot of Steam games for cheap, and actually the Jackbox Party Pack is on sale in the Humble Bundle store. You can get packs 1 through 7, and so it's really interesting.
Yeah, I love it. There's a lot of great games on there. I'm bad at all of them, but there is actually a few that I'm like good at 2 of the games. Only 2 out of all of the Jackboxes all around. I'm like good at 2 of them. But
I think Trivia Murder Party and Trivia Murder Party 2 is my favorite. I think Trivia Murder Party 2 is on Jackbox Party Pack 6, but the new pack, Blather Round from Party Pack 7, is really good. So,
very good.
Like if you have to make somebody guess a person, let's say the person is Batman, you will fill in using a predetermined list of words. Like you could say, this is a dark super character, and the order you put these in, it matters, because if you said a super dark character, you might think he's super dark, not a dark super character.
Yes. Order does matter. That's
and
for
you
sure.
can put not in there too, so it's really a whole lot of fun.
I'm still bad at this one, but occasionally I get it. I understand what people are trying to say, and I get it. But yeah, it's hard.
So yeah, I totally recommend that. See, Misty says that she loves Blather Around, so it's really good. Barry loves Trivia Murder Party. Love that. So there is the what is that wheel of something or other, where you spin this wheel, and there are very little bitty slivers that say live, and the rest of the area says die. And I've never seen anyone win it until I finally won it. I don't even think you saw it.
I don't think I saw that.
So yeah, you spin the wheel around, and for a while I was like, oh no, you never win this. There's no way you could possibly win this. I won it once and survived. They've got rounds where you can open up a present and you'll end up with his uncle's hat or his mother's wig, and you'll wear that. And the first time that you're up for elimination, it'll say, "I couldn't kill you, mother," and then it'll kill the next person instead. It's really hilarious.
Oh my god, it was
So
that was
it's
hilarious. That was
it's
really
so
good.
good.
That was really good.
So
Yeah.
we've had a few people from the stream join us, and so it's been a lot of fun. So
Oh yeah. The Jackbox is always fun. So it's definitely like easy to play and get addicted to just play. Let's play another round. Let's play another round. And then it's
well,
like
especially
four
for board
hours have
gamers too.
passed.
Yeah, I mean board gamers really get into it, I think. So um,
All right, you're
number
up.
10
Yeah,
on my list, not Europe.
you're up.
So number 10 on my list is New York Zoo. Um, I like anything with rondelles and stuff and tile placement. So this really worked for me in a lot of ways, and it probably would have been even higher if it thematically made sense what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do in New York Zoo is to just totally fill your board up, not actually to get animals into a zoo. Because as soon as you fill up an exhibit, you ditch the exhibit and put in another attraction. So really, are you creating a zoo or are you just filling up a board? I think that's where it thematically misses for me. Had it had that thematic connectivity, probably would have been higher in the rankings. So
That's good. That's fair. That's
yeah,
fair.
yep, yep.
It was definitely interesting. I do think you should try the other games in the series because I don't think you've played them. There's like three others in that series. So New York Zoo is kind of the fourth in the series, even though I think it's technically not a full series. Like I don't
Oh,
know,
you're
but
like talking Spring Meadow Indian Summer?
yeah, and Cottage Garden, all
Oh
those
yeah.
games that are Uwe Rosenberg and polyomino shapes and filling up your board and like kind of all feel the same, but it's not a formal series as
Yep,
Dan
yep.
says, yeah. But yeah, it's good. I like it.
All right.
My number 10 is probably higher on your list later, so we won't talk that much about it, but it's Chiseled, which is a deck shredding game where everybody starts with the same deck of cards that you shuffle up and you're trying to chisel away the cards that you don't need in order to have the perfect set of cards at the end of the game. And you do this by taking really a bunch of different actions. Every game, the actions will change up or be a little bit different because you don't use them all in each game. So that's kind of fun. And you'll have different goals each game. It's like a quick, like 20-minute card game, and it was really cool. It was really cool.
Yeah, we can go ahead and talk about it even more because it barely missed my list.
It barely missed your
It
list.
barely
Oh, see, I
missed.
thought it was
Yep.
going to be a little bit higher. I thought you liked it a little bit more than that.
Okay.
But yeah, tell us what you feel.
Yeah, I like the fact that it is a deck destruction game and not really a deck construction game because at the start of the game you've got all the cards that you will ever want, and the goal is to try to like you do with sculpture, you just chisel away at pieces and sort of sculpt your deck. It's a deck sculpting game, I guess you could call it.
Mm.
A lot of times you're just getting rid of rubble, but sometimes you could accidentally cut just a little bit too much and you'll end up cutting off like a silver piece or
The
a gold
head.
piece or a bronze piece that you, like a head. Well, so, okay, here it's the scoring is a little weird. You want pairs of arms. You want half of the chest cards or the body cards that you would normally have, and you want as many heads as possible. Isn't that, or I
Yes,
believe
you
that's what
want
it is?
all 18 heads. The more
You
heads
want
you have, the more points
all
you'll
nine
get.
heads. All nine heads for 18
Oh,
points.
that's what I'm thinking of. And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want only two arms. So you want to try and
Mm,
get rid of your arms, but if you having pairs is still better than having
yes.
odds. So yeah,
Yeah.
so
And
you're
you want
trying
as
to meet
many
all these different requirements
and you
and
want 5 of 9 bodies.
yeah, and you want to please the critics and you want to do this and this and this. Um yeah.
Yeah, because the critics are going to want certain things. They're going to want, only silver pieces, for example.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Or have
So,
more gold or have like so many or have there was one really weird one that was like have zero rubble or I mean, have all your rubble or whatever.
Yeah, there's no way
Like, there's
you're gonna
like,
have
why?
zero.
That's not worth it for what, 5 points? It's not worth
Right.
it to have all the
Totally not worth it.
negative points. I
So
guess
a
if
few
you're
of them,
really
yeah.
unlucky.
Now the actions are always different in each game, which I really like that. Um, there are some actions that are definitely take that actions, but I don't feel like this is a primarily a take that game because if I take that action, you're just going to get me back as soon as it becomes available again after all of the actions have been used. So
Yeah, but the take
um,
that actions aren't that bad because
they're not that bad
even if you say I'm going to discard the top cards of your deck, well, that's probably okay. I mean, it might be
sometimes.
okay. It might be okay. I usually
I
just
could
do it to myself anyway because I want to get rid of the cards on top. I take a chance, but
Well, see, there's 9 actions, so in a two-player game, somebody's going to get that last action, and it's like, I didn't want to take that. No.
uh, yeah, no, it's good. It's
So,
good. I like it.
yeah.
All right, that was my
All
10.
right. My number 9 is, let me type it in here, Village Green.
Oh, yeah.
So, we got a nice little 3x3 tableau of cards that you're trying to fill in with awards at the top and on the side. And you're trying to just make matches of either colors or flowers or ponds or parks or what do you call them? Statues, monuments, buildings, something.
Yeah.
So, and the more of those that you can do, the better. But once that ninth card is laid down, that triggers the end, and it ends really, really quickly. So, yeah.
I like it. It might be higher on my list.
It might be higher on your list. So we'll go ahead and let you talk about that in a minute. For now, your number 9 is.
It's probably higher on your list. Is
No, no.
Capital Lux 2. Now, it's very similar to Capital Lux, so but it still counts as a new game because there are a few new mechanics. So in Capital Lux, it's just always the same capital action. So if you're going to play a yellow card, you're going to get $1. That will always be the case for Capital Lux. Now, with Capital Lux 2, there are 4 different possible actions you can have for each of the 4 factions. So you're going to have a random variety of actions for each of these different capital factions each game you play. So I think it's really interesting, and it gives it a lot of replayability, in my opinion. And so the first game we played is the simple Capital Lux game. All of the actions are the same as Capital Lux. And then we played it again on the stream with totally different abilities, and it was like a totally different game. So that was really cool to show off and play. I really like this new box edition. I definitely don't think you need to own both of the games because basically Capital Lux 2 has Capital Lux included in it. But I really like the game, and yeah, I want to play
Yeah.
the
So we
other
played
ones.
with set A and set B. Set A being Capital Lux 1. Set C will have entirely different abilities and tokens and effects. And set D will be, again, even more different. They say not to combine it, but there are some power descriptions that say, hey, if you use this with this, then this effect doesn't apply first or whatever. Which implies, yes, you can mix those up, which will make the replayability even better. Now, you might get some games that are much more take that type versus just having your own thing going on, like multiplayer solitaire. But I don't think that matters a whole lot because the game is so fast. I think it's good to have a lot of different type of things happening.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's a really cool card game. So
Yep,
recommended.
yep. What do we got? Number 8. My number 8 on my list is Whistle Mountain.
Oh, okay.
So it's where
Nice.
you are using you get these little blimps that are trying to collect resources off of the buildings that you place on the structures. And you're trying to build up this mountain and see this was sort of weird because you're building buildings in an area where the water level is rising and those buildings are going to get taken out. Well, why are you building the buildings in the first place? Nobody knows. But
You
while the
didn't
buildings
know
are
because
there.
the snow is melting it. You didn't know they were gonna get taken out.
That's poor planning.
I agree. Kill the snow first, and then build.
That's right. Or build it where the snow can't get it every single year. I mean, come on. Um,
Yeah.
you start off with a couple of workers off in the whirlpool maelstrom uh, at the bottom of the lake area. You have to try to rescue them out, which takes actions to do. But if you can put little workers on the scaffolding and then put a building on top of it, they go over to the edge and you get bonus points or abilities or things like that. So it's got a lot of good worker placement things, a lot of good resource collection things. But yeah, and this is another one that would have ranked a lot higher if it had made a little bit more thematic sense than, hey, this is what the mechanism is, deal with it. Because that part didn't make a lot of sense. Just, hey, you place a building on a worker and you move it over to the side.
He's
For
promoted.
what? He gets promoted. That's what it is. So, anyway,
I like it. We only played once, so I definitely think we need to play it again. Because we had kind of a. And the first game's always tough, right? Because you don't really know what to expect or how the board's going to map out or really what you're doing and what's a good play. So I think playing it again will really give us that little like clarity that I think you might need in order to say, oh, aha. But what's really good about the game is that there is a ton of replayability here because each stack has a ton of tiles. So each building you might not see. Yeah, there's tons of upgrades you're not going to see. I mean, there's just lots of things. And you have a unique player ability, so that there's tons of those as well. So every game you're going to be a different ability.
Yeah, the player abilities are random. Your power upgrades are random. I can't remember what they're called, but the promotion abilities that you get are random. Uh, the little polyometer tiles are random. So you got a lot of every game is going to be a little bit different, which is good.
Yeah. And
So
I think that things to be aware of that it is a bit of a what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours kind of situation where you can't get attached to what you are doing because people will ultimately ruin your plans. So
right.
it has a little bit of sniping for areas, but I
Well,
don't know. You just have to
the one
learn to
thing
deal
that
with it.
even in a two-player game, I can't put down a scaffolding and you not make that building just right off the bat. So I think that's sort of
Right, but I
um,
mean, so there's a good thing about that is that I'm gonna put down that building and then you can immediately activate that building before even I can, kind of
oh,
thing.
but that's not what I need. I don't need to activate the building. I
Ah,
need to promote those workers.
right. So
So yeah,
there's a it can leave people a bit frustrated. I think if you're playing with a bunch of people, so you just want to be aware of something like that. If you don't know to expect something, you can't be too sure that you're safe in what you're
oh,
doing.
you're never safe in what you're
Yeah.
doing with that
So
because there was no way that I could get done with what I needed to get done with.
oh
So
yeah, no, I know. I
so
just
that was a little
yeah,
and but I see where the goodness is in the games, which is what made it to my top 10 list. It
yeah.
did not make your top 10 list.
It's just off of it. It's just
It
shy.
just barely off of it.
Yeah, it's just off
Now
of it.
that's not to say that it's a bad game
No,
because all of these
I had a bunch of like sevens that I didn't get on the top list, and so I think
yeah
seven's a perfectly great game. One I would even recommend playing, and so
yeah
yeah,
I think a lot of these in my top maybe from numbers 3 or 4 all the way down to like number 13 or 14 are all really close in my rankings in my head. So I could just shake up the random ball and just throw them out, and it would still probably be okay. So games I really that I had some enjoyment with, but there's a couple little things that maybe didn't work for me, but I would totally be willing to play again.
yeah.
All
Um,
right.
my number 8 is Wits and Wagers Epic Geek Edition.
Hey, Jobby, how you doing? Yeah, I can't put this on my list
You've
because I
already
played it
played it.
before,
No, I know.
and this is new to you
It was
and to
new
the
to me
stream
and to the
because we
stream.
played it on the
Yeah,
stream.
we had a good time on the stream, so we'll definitely be doing that again, and maybe other Wits and Ragers type games with the stream. Um, yeah, because I think we have another one. We have another Wits and Wagers that is on the unplayed shelf because I
Wits and
haven't played
Wagers
it.
Party Edition.
Or Family or something.
No, I think it's Party.
A party. Okay, so yeah, so
Should
anyway,
be right there in the chair next to you.
Party Edition, yeah. Cool.
It's right there.
That's what it says. So I really love Wits and Wagers as a game anyway. And having the geek theme is obviously awesome. So we had a good time. We answered some questions. I answered some really questions poorly, but it's always fun to see what you think you know of like the geek culture, which maybe I'm not a perfect geek. I didn't mind the superhero powers in the game. I know Dan didn't like the powers, and other people don't like the powers, but yeah, that's fine. You don't have to use your power.
That's right. Dan did not use this power once.
Nope. Yeah, so obviously shouldn't talk much about it because it's like impossible to find. So the only way to find it is to play with us on the stream.
That's right. Yeah, that's for those of you who haven't heard the story. This is a game that went to Kickstarter, did not fund, and did not get continued. And the few copies that North Star had ended up in a dumpster somewhere, supposedly. Hey, thanks for following.
Thanks for following.
And so Dominic, at least I'm guessing it was Dominic, came up to our table with a copy of this at BGG Spring 2016 and put it on the table, said, hey, does anyone want this? And I said, sure. And little did I know it was going to be one of my most rare games in my collection.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've got some super expensive games in my collection. I've got Mega Civ, the wooden edition, thanks to someone who gifted it to me. I mean, that was a fantastic gift from Orange Santa himself. I mean, I've got Advanced Civilization, which a lot of people have on their Grail games. Got a lot of things that a lot of people don't have, and this is one of the treasures of my collection because
for sure.
There's less than 50 copies out there, and 20 registered copies on BGG. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I'm glad we finally played it, and we'll be looking to play more of that.
Yep, absolutely. All right, number 7 on my list is Meeple Land. So everyone, most everybody likes amusement parks, right? Am I right?
Obviously.
So anything with an amusement park thing really, really gets it for me. So I've played through all of the Roller Coaster Tycoon series on PC. I played Planet Coaster. Love going to amusement parks. And so it's a hit of a theme for me. And so I played Unfair and loved it. And while I don't think this reaches the level of Unfair, because I mean that was like way, way high on my list.
Yeah, well, Unfair is really good.
Well, that was even in a month with a lot of heavy hitters.
No, I know.
Still made the near the top of my list. But this one does show a lot of promise. If you like meeple placement and tile drafting and resource management, I think that you'll really like Meeple Land.
Yeah.
You line up the paths. You start out from the start of your park, and then you branch off all your little paths. And some rides like to be near
the bathroom.
And some like to be near the bathroom. So I can understand being near the bathroom if you are this big thrill ride or one of these rides that spins you around and around. I don't know why you'd want to be near a food area if you're going on one of those rides, but there are some rides like that.
Usually, it's like a theater or like an entertainment type venue where you get food. That. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah.
So there's like food, restrooms, and gift shops, or souvenir shops, or whatever like that. So you want to place those near certain rides, so then you'll bring even more people to those rides.
Yeah.
You've got different color meeples that are each worth different amounts of points. Blue and green meeples aren't worth so many points. Pink and yellow, those are the good meeples because We don't talk about those blue and green meeples. And I always thought that was a little bit colorist. I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness.
You don't discriminate against the blue and the green meeples. They're worth just as much as pink and
yeah,
yellow
and if
meeples.
they're at the gate, they're worth even less.
Well, they're either, so pink and yellow are worth 2 in the park, -2 if they're shut out of the park. Blue and green are only worth 1 or -1.
Yeah.
It's like, why you gotta discriminate against the blue and the green meeples like that?
Barry made a comment in the chat. This one reminds me of Dinosaur Island. So Dinosaur Island is much heavier. Like, Meeple Land is like super easy, right? It's not necessarily like easy to map everything out and get everything you want, but it's easy to understand with easy mechanics. It's just an easy concept. Dinosaur Island has a lot more going on.
I've not played Dinosaur Island.
No,
so,
it's dice drafting. We should play it. I think you'll really like it.
I like dice.
Oh, I know.
I love dice.
I know. So Dinosaur Island is I don't know, like a medium to heavy game, and Meeple Land is like maybe a light to medium kind of game.
Have you played the Dinosaur Island expansion as well? Do we have?
Oh,
do
yeah.
You have it?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Got it.
Well, we're gonna kill Randy Bingo's paycheck. So...
Well, that's what we do here on this channel.
Sorry, not sorry.
we play all the games, and we talk about the ones and play the ones we like the most generally.
Yeah, and Justin says the same thing, because I'm glad he's. I'm not glad he's not here. I wish he were here, but at least we are saving his money. So there is that. So,
we'll just ruin his next paycheck with the next stream on Sunday.
Well, he needs to catch up.
You can blame us, Randy.
It's our fault.
I like getting blamed for things like this.
That's right.
All right, we're on 7.
Just don't say it was Steph's fault, because then your wife would really kill you.
It's always my fault.
Say it's my fault.
My number 7 is probably much, much higher on your list, because I know you really like this.
You don't know.
Raiders of Scythia. This killed Raiders of the North Sea, in my opinion.
Not killed it. Fired it. You can't kill it.
Oh, I fired it. I had already sold Raiders of the North Sea at this point, because it was a lot to get it played, and it's better with the expansions, but adding in the expansions and teaching people, it made it an over like a 3-4 hour experience. It's just like a lot, and so it's like not really my jam. Now with Raiders of Scythia, it kind of takes the best elements from that whole experience, and then also adds in a few extra things which I really like. So, but it's essentially the same game where you are.
Maybe I haven't played it, so
I know you wouldn't know, but placing a worker and taking up a worker. I mean, it has the same unique mechanic that I like. I like this mechanic. I mean, I like putting something down and taking something up, because none of these workers are your workers, and whatever you place, you're then giving up to the next player to grab and use in a future round. So
it frustrated you to play those, and then for leaving that silver meeple or that red meeple for me to take. I know you hated that.
Hated it. But I like this. I like this a lot. I think this is ends up being a keeper. The game is absolutely stunning. So it's beautiful.
Oh, I hope it's a keeper, because I want to play it some more. So.
No, all of these on my list are keepers.
Number 6 on my list is not new to a lot of people, and it did not make your list, but it made my list. Aquaretto.
Oh, okay.
So again, you've got the zoo, and zoos and theme parks, sort of go hand in hand. Zoo managed. I like in case you didn't know this about me, I like a lot of those tycoon management sort of games.
Yeah.
And so I got Planet Coaster. Well, I also got Planet Zoo. I haven't played it yet, but I've got it ready to be played. So Aquaretto takes a lot of the same things from Zooleretto, but you have to actually place these sort of like tile placement, where you're placing them in certain patterns and stuff. With Zooleretto, you're just placing them in enclosures. In Aquaretto, you're placing them in this little water area, and you got to place them in different areas and keep them separated.
keep them separated. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely don't think owning both Zooloretto and Aquaretto is necessary.
I don't think it's necessary, but I don't know which one I'd rather keep more because they've got different things. So
yeah, I would probably keep Aquaretto, I guess, just because I do like the aqua theme a little bit better. Don't have many aqua themed games, and because there's a whole bunch of extra content in Zooloretto that I don't necessarily need. That
yeah, but I like that extra content because it gives other different objectives and strategy to do. So I think they're different enough, just barely different enough. So yeah, classic for you guys. For you people who think that all we play are the new games, no, we actually play some old games every now and then. So
yeah, every
old
now and then.
games.
I mean, yeah, but that make the list, I guess you should say. Like
It did make the list.
early this year, I learned Galaxy Trucker, which will probably end up making some sort of top on my list at the end of the year. It'll probably be. I think I'll probably end up doing a top 25 games learned in 2020, and that might be up there. Galaxy Trucker.
Now the top 100 games.
Top 100? I mean, I did learn. I hopefully will have learned 500 by the end of the year, and I don't think I need a top 100 games learned. That would be a little much.
Top 500 games learned.
I think I'll probably do a
Start
top
off with
25.
Your, Land Rainbows.
Yeah. So
Now
let's
you're
see.
number 6.
My number 6, which you haven't played yet, which is on.
I have not played it.
It is Rajas of the Ganges, the Dice Charmers. Charmers. Same thing, whatever. This is on yukata.de, and I played it, I don't know, 4 times now, which is a fair bit for a game. Not all games get this much play. It's easy to teach online, and it's kind of quick, but it has a lot. Let's see, it has a lot in common with Raja of the Ganges, which I know you won't particularly like, Michael, but I think what it takes Raja of the Ganges and puts it really well into a dice rolling drafting game.
And I think that might make it good for me because
it is much better. In my opinion, it's much better than Raja of the Ganges, which I like, but I do like the dice game a little bit more. Maybe because it's faster, maybe because you get to the point quicker. You're still trying to meet the tracks in the middle and get there first. So it is a race game, which I don't generally like, but you're doing a lot of different things. You're getting goods, you're selling goods, you're moving up the river track, you're building temples and making roads and stuff. So it has a lot of good things going on, and I think it's interesting.
Yeah, Rajas to me was just take this action. It gives you 4 of these, 4 of points A. If you take this action, it'll give you 5 of points B. So you just take whichever one gets those things together quicker, and it seemed just really mechanical to me.
Right.
Just take some of points A and some of points B and just get them closer together. And
right, but so now it involves, so this game involves dice drafting. So you have to manipulate these dice in order. So I really like dice drafting anyway.
So that might make it a lot better for me because I agree. It didn't seem like I had enough interesting decisions or meaningful decisions in Rajas.
I think
Hopefully the dice will be better.
Yeah, I think you'll like this a lot more. I also
and we can play it on Yukata, right?
And we can play it on Yukata. Yeah, we should do that and just stream it. But it's good because there's 2 sides to the board too, so you don't always have to play the same board, which is nice. Also,
right. We are trying to find out a way that we can do some good streaming on your poor laptop, which probably can't take it. Maybe stream it from up here on the desktop.
Good laptop.
And maybe stream it from up here, and maybe stream a Discord session, maybe something like that.
See, we'll test it out at some point.
We're gonna test it out, and so then that way give you guys even more enjoyment. So
maybe during the holiday break if you get some time off.
That's right. Well, I mean, I've got Christmas and New Year's, so that's good. Because I'm not forced to take vacation, thankfully. I've got a lot of hours stored up because
I
of
know, a
COVID.
lot of
We don't go
cons going,
anywhere,
a lot of
so
cons coming up, right?
all those cons better
If
start happening.
only, if only.
If only. So, what the next ones that were
5.
due? I mean, we just passed BGG Con
Oh.
and Tennessee Game Days Fall, which are gone. So I guess the next ones would be Rocket City Game Fest, which is probably not happening. Tantrum Con probably not happening. Tennessee Game Days Spring 2021, which is the last convention we went to in 2020.
Uh,
That one's probably gone. Granite Game Summit probably not happening. Um, I'm not sure when the next one. I will be lucky to be able to go to BGG Spring. So it's not been announced that that's not happening yet, is it?
I haven't heard anything regarding that, so I'm not sure.
So we'll see.
It's probably all up in the air.
Yeah.
I hope everything's done by April so we can go to Niagara Falls.
I know that would be really good because 10 days of gaming is fantastic. I got to say that. So
It's so good.
yeah. So and I won't be a newbie next time we go. So that'll be good. All right, my number 5. Are we on number 5? I guess.
Yeah, 5.
Is Masterword.
Ooh.
So we played this a couple times on the stream.
Oh yeah, this just barely missed my list as well. It's really good.
Oh no, such a tragedy. And I don't particularly care for word games a lot. This one, and you'll remember when I was reading the rules, I stopped reading and I said, "This is just 20 questions, right?"
Yeah, yeah.
And initially it seemed like it, but not really. It's almost like 20 questions meets Mastermind.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
in Mastermind you're trying to find the 4-color code or
Yeah.
the 4-number code, and I say that some are right, but I don't tell you which ones are right.
Yeah.
So, and I think that really makes this work. It tries to make the guessers come up with some interesting solutions to try to figure things out for sure. Like, for instance, if you've got 4 choices that you could put in a column, in a row rather, you could give the same choice for 3 of them, something totally different for one of them. And if you get 3 check marks, you know it's one of them. If you get 1 check mark, you know it's the other. You get 4 check marks, you know it's both. And so it really does make you think outside of the box with a lot of these things.
Yeah, I
so
like it.
I think that really works. So
good. I'm glad you liked it.
yeah.
I think we should.
And then
We'll keep it around so we could play with the chat occasionally.
I think it's really easy to play with just a ton of people in the stream. We'll just put down the best 5 or 6 answers.
Yeah, it's easy.
And then it's easy. Now, you might think, oh, it'll get easier if you have 6 people given choices instead of 3. Not exactly, because I think that just means there is more of a chance that I'm going to give an average number of check marks, and you still don't know what the right answers are.
So I played the other day with my family, and
I hear that didn't go great.
No, the first round was awful, and then the second round with the category was sports. So they kind of learned from their mistakes in the first round, and so the first guess they did for all 4 things was uses a ball, and I'm like 4 check marks. Okay, they now know it uses a ball. Like.
Well, yeah, with 6, you definitely want to try to include 3, 2, 1. I mean, it's perfect doing it that way because then you're for sure what you're going to get. If you get 4, you know what it is. If you get 3, you're not quite sure, but at least you have it some sort of it's either the 3 or the 2, 1. Getting 1, 2, 5, you know what it is at that point. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 5 we already talked about was Village Green.
We already talked about.
Village Green.
Talk more about it.
Yeah, I mean this one was a big surprise. It's a fairly light card game, but
small box.
Anybody can understand it and play it. And it's really simple to understand, hey, I want that card. Let me grab it and play it. And it just has a lot of replay because there's tons of different objective cards, and you're trying to place them all so you're scoring the best possible arrangement with your park garden type area. And you got some restrictions on how you place your cards, which is nice, but for the most part, this is a really nice card game.
I like tile placement more or less, because you've got the color and flower element. And the placement where your rows or columns are going to score certain amounts. And you've got the drafting element that you like a lot. So It's no wonder
okay.
that you would actually. That. So.
Whoops.
Push the little arrow to go away.
Does it go away, or is it gonna bring me? Okay. I didn't know if it was gonna pop up or something. No more Facebook notifications. Yeah, Osprey.
We'll have to tell Chris, hey, do not bother us when we're streaming.
Osprey has been doing a wide variety of games. Yeah, I agree. We have a few others on the shelf. We just played just the other day Lost Expedition, which was pretty good. So that might show up in next month's New to Me top games. But
yep.
Yeah, no, I think I really liked Village Green, and I love the art. I think if I were to recommend a game to somebody who's kind of like casual gamer, besides the general code names and party games, like if they're looking for a little bit more strategy, like this is like a really good fit.
I agree.
Like my friend who loves Arboretum, like I'm gonna say you should get this game.
Oh, I know that friend.
Yeah, my good friend Simon.
Looks like your mouse is still on.
Sorry.
Try to grab it. Wait.
I fixed it. I fixed it.
I'm trying to grab it. All right, so my number 4 title we have already talked about. It's Capital X2 Generations. So love the variable abilities for the different colors, and I really think it works. I've noticed that a lot of the games that are making my list are not the great big involved games like Raiders of Cynthia. They're more like a lot of these smaller box games. And maybe this because my attention span might be declining like everybody else's in the world.
Or we didn't play a whole lot this month.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of time I like the big involved games. I don't mind a 12-hour advanced Civ marathon. Probably am going to enjoy the epic multi-hour High Frontier thing that's going to be happening. And might actually make my list. I hope it makes my list anyway. But yeah, a lot of the things that are showing up are these, the smaller, quicker, more enjoyable little, fast things that go on. So. Well, and that's normally not my style. So.
Yeah, I mean, if it has really interesting mechanics and it feels different and it packs a punch, I don't see why I wouldn't make the list. If it's got to feel different.
It's got to feel different, and it's a plus if it gives me something that other games don't do. So.
High Frontier for all.
High Frontier for all.
It's on the calendar, so maybe it will hit the top 10 of December.
Well, hopefully Dan can tell me what the differences are between High Frontier 4 and some of the early ones, because I think I've got High Frontier 1 or 2. I'm not sure which. And am wondering whether I should keep it in the collection or not. So
I cannot. Jeff can.
Jeff can, so that's good.
Yeah. Jeff will. Everything you need to know. He's always in the forums. I just see Jeff has commented here. Jeff has commented here. It's all High Frontier, High Frontier, High Frontier. Yes.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So what are we on? 4?
Yep. We are number 4, and it's a game that I have not played.
It's a game you have not played. I really took to it. It's called Decipher. This is really interesting word game. I really liked it. Dan was less impressed, but he liked it anyway. Uh,
I'm skeptical of word games, as you know. So, oh, he liked it.
yeah, I know. He's like, oh, it'll get stale. It'll get stale.
Well, I
I
mean,
don't know. I mean, you
if
just
he
got.
says he likes them all, he's gonna lose his curmudgeon status. He knows this, so he's just gonna go ahead and say that right off the bat.
Dan says, pretty good game, originally from 1981.
Wow.
So I was -5. But yeah, it has like a bunch of different shapes, and you're.
Oh, it used to be called runes. I see.
Yeah, and somebody picks a word, generally 5 letters. So if you're playing the normal game, it's like 5-letter word or something. And each of the letters has its
I could
own
think of
unique
some 4-letter words.
shape. You could do a 4-letter word. That's fine. You just have to tell us. But and then every round, every turn, I give out a piece to the next player, and then they have to guess where the piece goes. And then if the piece is assigned to a letter, if they guess correctly, I'd be like, yep. If not, then I actually get a point and say nope, and that actually gives them a little bit of information. That piece gets moved to another spot of their choice, and we keep doing this. And then at any time, a player can guess, but each player only has 3 guesses to guess the 5-letter word. So you're trying to deduct what the letter might be, and then unscramble it, and then try and see what, like, you know, if that could be a T, then that might be an A, then this could be a U. I don't know. You know, you don't know what it's going to be. And then you're trying to guess what the 5-letter word is. And I like it. I really like it.
Is it something that would work on the stream once you get it?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah, it's a good game.
It seems like it might.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
All right.
Number 3.
Into the top 3.
Yes.
So, I am surprised at where this ended up on your list.
Oh, yeah?
But for number 3, I said Paris.
Oh, yeah, this was just off the list as well.
A little bit more involved game. Again, everything from 3 on to about, down to number 13. They could all really be jumbled up, but this one just barely edged out the others. I like.
You keep talking.
You keep talking. All right. So I really like the bonuses track that goes all the way around the board, and so whenever you get to take and place a worker onto a 1 or a 2 tile, you're not going to get. It doesn't cost you a lot, and you're not going to get a lot of points for it, but it will enable your little victory point guy to go another step or 2 down the awards track, and you're taking these awards before anybody else can get them. So a lot of times you might want to do that just so you can snatch up an award first. I liked how the tiles will come up randomly, and how you can get all the different bonuses that pop up. And I think the strategies change a lot based on which of the bonus tiles that you pick up. I'd be interested to hear what Steph says about all of this, but she has disappeared. So she wasn't feeling well earlier before the stream. So and I was hoping that she would not have to cancel it. But anyway, so I like being able to go up on in the little neighborhood tracks. Some neighborhoods are clearly worth more than others. Because as soon as you place a worker into a district, you're going to get the coins in the bank for that district. The highest one being a 7, the lowest one being a 2. That's a huge difference in a game where money gets really tight at the end of the game. It makes a big difference whether you're using one of your 10, they're not workers, they're keys. But placing one of your keys in the 7 city will give you 7 coins. Placing a worker in one of those little 2 cities, and the little 2 neighborhood gives you 2 coins, and money is going to be tight at the end of the game. That said, if everyone goes towards that 7 neighborhood, then everyone's going to be competing for those same buildings in that neighborhood, and so competition can get really fierce. But you know that's going to have all the bonuses and stuff. Hey, Mom Gamer. Steph's away from the computer for a moment, but I am taking over and talking about my number 3 game. And I will go ahead and say what my number 2 game is, since Steph is not here. My number 2 game, going out of order for a minute, is Raiders of Cynthia. So this was okay. So I will go ahead and spoil you. Paris just barely missed Steph's list. Raiders of Cynthia was on her list at number 7, and I think I enjoyed this even more than Steph did. It's got worker placement. You place a worker, you get that action. You retrieve a different worker, you're going to get that action. And then rolling dice in order to attack the different areas. I love dice in almost every game, and love that randomness that puts in there. So yeah, I decided to go ahead and talk about my number 2 game. If you have anything else to say about Paris, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But I was just talking about the Raiders of Cynthia while you were gone, saying how much I like the dice and the worker placement and all of that, and it really works for me. Getting your different mercenaries and then arming them with heroes and eagles and collecting all the victory points. That way, it's not just plain old victory point salad. It is actually you're having to rake and scrape for those points. So,
hey, Mom Gamer. Welcome. Yeah, so I just wanted to add to Paris that
I can't believe it missed your list.
I know, and just barely missed the list. Mostly because I'm not huge on area control, and this is basically straight up area control. It has some interesting mechanics.
Yeah, but the bonuses track is really good.
Yeah, it is. I do like the bonus track. It's hard because area
control is so much for you, I think.
Right. So. And so I like a lot of that game, but ultimately it just missed the list. So it's like a 7, right? So that's a solid game, and I will play it again. I will want to play it again. The art is beautiful. It might be a
keeper for you even.
Maybe. We'll see. I need to play it a few more times and see how it falls. But yeah, I like it.
Do you play any game a few more times though? I mean,
that's the thing. Well, with this stream, it's been really good. We've been playing a bunch.
Yep.
My number 3 is Boomerang Europe, which actually might be my favorite of all the Boomerang titles.
Wow.
I know.
That's amazing.
They're all rated like 8 for me, which I really like. I love drafting. I love filling in the little bubbles. Like,
yeah.
But the interesting part about Europe is that I am trying to collect different sets, but for each. So there's a few different things that's happening. So you're trying to get your passport bonus by going to all the different countries and everything. And each region is a little bit different size, which is cool. But there's also the mechanic.
That adds a new twist to it. There's one,
yeah,
like United Kingdom and Ireland, 2 territories, 1 region, and you have to get 1 of each region in order to qualify for that passport bonus. And it's really hard trying to get that I or J card, because that's what they are. The one's an I, one's a J.
Exactly.
And trying to get one of those little green cards.
No, but then there's like this other scoring feature. Normally you're trying to collect like all of the kangaroos or whatever. Or not that bonus, the other bonus, where you're trying to collect the different, attractions or something.
Yes.
And so with Europe, it's
you get
culture.
2 cars, or you get 2 bikes. Or something like
no, I'm talking about the one
Americana bonus.
Yes, the Americana bonus.
Yeah.
Yes, where you're trying to collect a lot of the same type of features, like the hiking guy, or I don't know, I can't remember them all right now. But this one's a little bit different, where I just need 1 of something, and then I get everybody else's at the table. So if Michael has a lot of paintings, then I want to get 1 painting so I can score all of his paintings. It's the culture bonus or whatever. And I think that's interesting.
And I'm sitting there looking at what you haven't done yet, and I'm like, I should not collect paintings unless I really, really have to have paintings.
Yes.
So.
And that it probably gets easier to understand with more plays, as you know, like, oh, the eye is a painting card or whatever, and like he needs eye. I'm gonna hold off on that until. But I don't know if I'll ever get to that level of the game, but it's just, it could get there, I suppose. But I really like Boomerang. And
you should really try those Boomerang titles, Mom. It's really good.
Yeah, it's really fun. I love it.
Yeah.
There's
No matter
actually,
which one you get.
yeah, there's Boomerang Australia is on Board Game Arena, so you should check it out. It's
Yeah,
really
the
good.
original Boomerang. If you happen to find Boomerang, it is also Boomerang Australia, but the rules are slightly different.
Yeah, they're
So,
all a little bit different.
and despite the pad being, but despite the box being smaller for the original Boomerang, the pad is nearly twice as big, and so it's a whole lot better when you're filling in stuff.
That's probably true.
So yeah.
We could probably do a joint with my number 2, your number 1,
How do you know?
because I know things.
Because you know what my number one's going to be.
Yeah, it's gonna be my
You
number
don't.
2.
You don't know me.
And it was my number 1 until I
And
barely made the cut for the first game.
And I've not played your number one, so and I think you would say that if I had played that number one of yours, I would like it enough to make it either my number 2 or my number 1.
I think so. But
So, looking forward to playing that.
yeah, my number 2, probably Michael's number 1, is Beyond the Sun.
Yes, it's my number 1. Go ahead and spoil it. My
Well,
number 1 of the month. Mom says because I know things.
yes, exactly. That's me because I know things.
Yeah, Steph sometimes says, you don't know. And
You don't know.
I've now picked that up. So, yeah, you don't know.
Beyond the Sun is very, very cool tech tree type game. We played it on the stream the other day. It's probably a bit longer because we talk a lot, but
Well,
the game itself should be maybe 90 minutes. But once everybody knows everything, I'm sure it can be even faster than that.
I think so.
It's fairly simple to learn because the mechanics are very straightforward. If you're already a gamer, everything will seem familiar and very easy. Okay, you're taking a pawn, you're placing a pawn. It's worker placement, right? And you're taking an action, and then you're running a production line, which is simple. And you'll get some ore, or you'll get some people, or whatever. And that's it. Is you do one little thing every turn, and you run your line, and it's good. And then you keep going until the game end is triggered, which is usually with 2 players, 3 discs on the achievements. So there's different achievements at every game. So you're looking to get to those achievements before other people to get more points or even lock them out of the possibility of getting it.
And I think that's probably my only criticism of the game is that it ends too quickly.
Yeah.
That once that 3rd achievement is achieved, that's it, you're done. You don't get a chance to spend any of your level 3 or 4 technologies. We don't even get to level 4 technology sometimes. So, and if you do, you scratch the surface, and then that's it. It's now granted, level 4 is mostly just you're going to get this many victory points, but you don't get to get many of them at all. So
No.
I think that would be my only criticism of Beyond the Sun. As much as I love those mechanisms, in the early '90s, I think in '91, playing Civilization on PC, and it was my first big tech tree game. Master of Magic on PC, like 92, 93. Both games by Microprose. Fantastic games, fantastic tech trees, or in Master of Magic, magic trees, where if you get a spell, then you can get other spells that go off of that. And, just like technologies that go off of that with Civilization. So, once you get wheels and soldiers and horses, you can get chariots. So I think that sort of thing really appeals to me. All of the Civilization building games like that with tech trees. And this has that, and I love it. So,
Yeah.
and then with this having worker, not really worker placement, but you move your cylinder and take an action. It's sort of worker placement and resource management with your workers and your ore. I'm glad that it did not include 3 or 4 different resource types. I think that there are some games, some of which we've played recently, that are trying to get into the resource management genre, and they give us 12 or 15 resources. No, that does not work. You need at most, 4 or 5 resources that are, well developed. I think Le Havre does it rather well with, you've got these basic resources, you've got these advanced resources, go to town with them. So
yeah, I agree. I like that it's simple, and there's a lot of ways to explore and do different things every game. So I think I've played it now 4 times. That's pretty good.
it's really good. Yeah, Dan says there's a segment of the market that thinks more stuff is better. Yeah, it's not. So the first, this is the if occasionally Steph will get new designers who will submit things to her, and I always tell them, all right, the first thing you should do when you think you've got a complete game, start trying to find out things that you think you can reasonably cut, not add. So, and designers look at me like I've gone crazy, but it's true. You don't just want to add stuff for the sake of adding stuff. And I think that this particular designer, he was just deaf. He didn't want to hear it. And that's fine. I mean, I wish him all the luck in the world, but more is not going to be better. He had it was a list of actions that would happen in a turn that was on the normal game, not the basic game, but the normal game as it was designed, had 15 steps to the main phase, where you do step 1 things, then you do steps 2 things, and then steps 3 things, and that's 1 round. Took forever. For what it was not worth it. So.
No, gotta cut some of that out.
Yeah. If you don't cut it out, you're going to get people going, no, this is not worth. It's not worth the upkeep. So.
And yeah, anything else about Beyond the Sun for you?
No, it's fantastic.
Get it?
I'll always want to play it, and yeah.
Nice.
Now, I would probably, I don't rate games anymore because as a publisher, I worry about retaliatory feedback a lot of times. I would probably rate this game maybe 8.5 or a 9. So it's really good.
Yeah, I think I rated it an 8. So it's right up there with you for me. Yeah, and I don't give out many double rainbows, but my next game, my number 1 game, gets this lovely double rainbow that I see behind me here.
Because you gave it an 8.5 or a 9?
A 9. It takes a 9 in order to get it a double rainbow.
Well, I already spoiled it because I already talked about it.
It is Carnegie.
Oh, you could say it. Holy mackerel.
I have to say Carnegie Hall in my head.
There might be some relation there.
Yeah, I have to say it in my head, and then I say the Carnegie. Okay, cool. And I learned this basically with a couple days to go in November, so it was the last minute entry into the November blog. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. There's several more weeks before it will hit Kickstarter. My guess is that the time frame for this game, it will be published probably SN next year. That time frame is my guess. But it's a new big box game from Quinid Games, designed by Xavier George. I don't know how to say his name properly, but the Gingopolis designer.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think there may be some relation between... Yeah.
It is supposed to be on Kickstarter soon. So I'm going to spoiler a little bit when I'm going to read this email I got. But, so I really like this game. There's a lot going on, but it all flows very well together. Now, you're not going to understand this game until, I don't know, halfway through the game. You're like, it starts to click at that, like, the halfway point where you're like, I don't know. At the beginning of the game, you have no idea what you're doing. You have no idea what you're doing. So that will probably be a bit of a bump to get over for new gamers. It's not clear at all. It's really not. So getting through the first game is half the battle, right? And once you play the game, and then you're like, okay, the world opens up a little bit. You're like, wow, okay, so now maybe if I tried that at the beginning, you're doing a little bit of this and this. But you're trying to like get these different departments, and then every turn there's an action that's activated. If you're the active player, you choose the action you want. There's only 4 actions, right? So, you know, it's not that hard, right? No, I mean, there's a lot of intertwining things that are going on. But if I select movement, for example, I will move all my meeples according to the movement room that I have. So we all have different departments in our little building, and depending on how many meeples are in that building, you can do the activation so many times. And sometimes it costs money to put a active meeple into a room. So if I move somebody into a new space, it might cost money to activate them and put them to work, basically. But so if I have 2 meeples standing in my movement room, that means I get 6 movement between all my other meeples, and they can move around this different buildings and sit in different offices and everything. And they'll do work for you. Basically, the next time I want to, you know, put out little discs on the main board, I don't remember, development, I think it is, they can go off and do that kind of thing. And so they're doing all these different actions using these different abilities. You're trying to get locations on the board. It's network building, essentially, on the map of the United States. And you're trying to get some donations for endgame scoring, and you're trying to get more development buildings. You're trying to get more rooms, like, for your departments. You're trying to, you know, do a whole bunch of things, right? Progress. I don't remember all the terminology. I'm really bad with theme, but you know, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot going on, but it's not hard to understand the concepts and what's actually happening. If somebody activates one action, all of your department rooms on your building with that matching action, you can activate. So if you have a whole bunch of movement buildings or rooms or whatever, you can activate every single room on your board. So there's a lot of things you're doing to try and optimize your actions, if you will.
Yeah, I'm looking at the board right now just to sort of see what you're talking about. That's why I'm looking over here on the side.
No, that's fine, and I should probably put up a picture, but there's just like, it's a lot, right? You're not gonna get it all in the first place, because there's so many rooms that you could possibly buy. There's so many different strategies to try. Like, do you just stay in one area of the map and just not worry about getting the end game bonus for networking to different major cities, or do you try and do this thing or this thing or this thing? But
you can't do everything, because if you
can't.
If you let your players do everything, then you've lost what a game is. So
I agree.
Never let your players do whatever they want. Always have some sort of limiting factor there.
Now, the game is still in development. It's currently in alpha mode on Board Game Arena, which is where we played. I played with the publisher, Arno, from Quinted Games. And so I wrote to him the other day, because Dan, you know, is being Dan, is like, well, it'd be better if blah, 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 blah. So he gave all his opinions to me. So I wanted to ask Arno, what, where is that? Where is my email? Okay. I wanted to ask Arno if there's going to be any other changes or development to the game. And yes, there is still a lot going on. So the Kickstarter campaign is delayed for a few weeks until I can finish a few things, including the rules and everything. The setup of the game has been changed a little bit, according from what we played on Board Game Arena. But they're also looking to add in extra departments. So there might be swap in so many different buildings each game, so you might not see the same buildings or the same department rooms every game. So available for purchase. So I think adding in little things like that to keep up the variability will be really good. So I hope that they continue to do that. But the game itself there's already so much to try and strategies to pursue that I've played twice, and I've really enjoyed both games, and I got honed in the first game and I totally destroyed in the second. I learned from my mistakes. Yeah, Dan, if you want to write a whole email, I can forward it along to Arno. He's taking all suggestions. So if you have anything you want to add, he's looking for a lot of feedback from people in the Board Game Arena. So sure, he will do that. Excellent. Arno would be very happy to hear from you. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see where it ends up, and I'm sure it'll be a lot of people's number one of next year. I'm 100% sure. So yeah, I guess that was a long-winded way of saying I love this game. And if you have alpha status on Board Game Arena, then you should check it out. I don't know when it will be in beta, or if it will be, I don't know. But Board Game Arena is really awesome. They're really coming a long way since this COVID hit, so it's really excited to see all that. Yes, they're taking feedback. Shrey, thanks for joining us. Shrey, if you want to write anything feedback-wise, I'm happy to forward anything anybody has to say. So
Shrey did leave some feedback. He said, "Good Dan impression." So there's Shrey's feedback. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so Carnegie is probably like on the heavier side of medium weight Euro. It's probably on the little bit heavier because it just takes a little bit to wrap your mind. But what's great about I'm going to say it again. What's great about this game is that the flow is really there. The mechanics aren't like sporadic. Like there's a reason why this is doing this. There's a reason for everything. So I like all of that.
Right.
Versus Dinosaur Island, which is like you do one thing and then you move to the next section of the game and you do this phase, which is totally different from this phase, which is then different from this. So everything's like not as connected, right? So I know you don't know that, Michael, because you haven't played, but that's basically, there's different phases and they're all completely separated. It's all very interconnected and works fairly well. So I think you'll really like it.
Sounds great. Can't wait to play it.
Yeah.
And since I have alpha status on VGA,
there's that. But he's actually going to send us a prototype copy, which is awesome, because then we could play it on the stream and show it off for realsies. And as soon as the Kickstarter goes live, we'll be boosting that, because I am a big fan. I think that will be one of the best games that I've played this year. So
Matt says Carnegie, which actually I believe Andrew Carnegie says it one way, and I mean, there are two distinctly different ways. I'm going to try to find out which way.
It's correct, but nobody says it, says Dan.
Let me see. Yeah, I used to have this. I used to have this written. I read it on one of the websites at one point where one Carnegie pronounced it one way and one pronounced it Carnegie, and I'm not sure which is which. And
the Scots say it like that. I used to live a few blocks from where he grew up, Pittsburgh.
Even my father, who went to Carnegie Tech before it merged with Mellon. Carnegie Mellon, not Carnegie Mellon.
I've never said it Carnegie. Cool.
So yeah.
All right. Well, that was our top 10s.
Top 10
games learned in November. Huzzah! We did it. Now, Michael was like, I don't know if I have top 10 games, but if you did, you pulled it out.
Yeah, I hope that it sounds better than, because I heard that there were some complaints last time.
Yeah, I think you sound fine. So I don't know. It'll be fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Fine.
All right. Well, we'll be right back.
Right back.